So yeah, I'll be leaving, and good luck to you both. Right.
I think we will start at like about in 5 minutes, maybe.
Sure, I think we can wait for like more people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe 7-5. Okay, everyone, I think it's all right to start now. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to the KAITalk. This is an event where you can meet with our successful KAIST alumnus and learn their experience about life after graduation. This time, we have invited an outstanding alumnus in the business and technology industry, Mr. Pongsthan. He is currently an assistant unit manager of World Business Strategy. First of all, I would like to inform you that we will use Slido for asking the question during this event. Please see the link. I just sent it to you in the chat box here. Okay, feel free to submit any question you have, and I will bring them up during the Q&A session. If you have a problem opening the link, please let me know. And moreover, if the meeting is unexpectedly end, please rejoin the link again. I think you are all ready now. Let me hand the microphone to our speaker. Hope y'all enjoy the talk.
So thank you so much, for KIAST for invited me to today's session. And I feel like today is going to be really like a good sharing session for all of you, because I just heard that you guys just returned back to the school, right, for the offline class. And I think over the past few years, you all like study online, and you may not have done a lot of activity. And also like, I think like today's session is going to be like very useful for you. And I hope that I can share my story. And one exclamation is that I'm not successful yet, but because I have been start working just for a few years, but at least I hope that my story can be like a good guideline for you for your future, right? So okay, allow me to share my screen. Okay. All right. Please hold on a second. I'm not usually like use Zoom. Okay, did you all see my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, all right, okay. Okay, let me start right here. So I think let me do it this way. Maybe during the first 20 minutes, I'm gonna like present my slide, but and I will focus first about my background, and then like how I landed my job, and how my story or like that can help you guys to land your dream job, or even for your future career path. So if you have any question, yeah, just type in the link, right? And then if we have like time, we can spend some time on the Q&A session. But if the time is really tight, so if you have additional questions, you can contact me personally or leave some question to the KIAST organizer, so I can help reply you via email or something else, right? Okay, all right. So first of all, I'm Pongsthan, but you can call me both, right? I'm from Thailand, and I went to KAIT for Master of Business and Technology, and I graduated in 2019, right? So it's almost like it has been 3 or 4 years that I leave KAIT already, right? So let me share you a little bit about my background. So before I went to KAIST, I studied in Thailand at Chulalongkorn University in material science, and I also went to Seoul National University for like exchange student for 1 year as well. And right after graduation, I got a Korean government scholarship, and I came to KAIST for business and technology management, right? And I spent about like 2 years in my department. I graduated in 2019. And right after graduation, I come back to Thailand and start my job in the consulting company. So I joined 2 firms, first is Lowland Burger and also Accenture, where I like work in the consulting position. And most of the projects that I involved is focusing on financial service sector. And also like I also joined Shopee Pay, which is one of the big financial service application, right, in Southeast Asia. I think some of you may have heard of this, and I joined with them in the commercial department as well. And now I join KAIST Bank, which is our local bank in Thailand, in world business strategy, and and I focus on Southeast Asian market. And right now I'm doing project in Cambodia and Vietnam market, right? So as you can see, right, from my experience, right, my background is quite really shift a lot, right? So I'm start from like material science, like I do a lot of science. I went to internship at the science company, but however, like I feel like it's not for me, like it's not fit into my career path. So that's why I decided to join KAIST and study business. And the reason that I choose KAIST and Korean is first, I think KAIST is really unique compared to another school in South Korean, right? Because another school, like they have kind of like very broad kind of field and department, but it's kind we are very famous in technology field, right? And I think like when business and technology they are meet, right? It's something very like interesting gonna happen. That's why like I decided to join the program as Kai, and yeah, in Hajon. And also like I joined, I also intern at some Korean company as well, like just for a few months at Carry in Seoul. It's a company that do children content. Back then, it's also very interesting, and later on I can share you my experience in that company, right? And then after graduation, right, it's very tough for me as well. I mean, and I think like all like also like for some of you, because you know like when you were in your final year or final semester, you really don't know like what to do, right? So whether you want to go back to your country to study, or whether you want to pursue like advanced study or not. But in my case, right, I feel like I want to try to start working first again before I do PhD, because when I study business, there are a lot of case study, like real world case study that I cannot really like understand because I lack of working experience. I mean like actual working experience. So that's why like I decided to spend some time to acquire some of working experience in Thailand first, and then later on I will decide whether I want to pursue like additional degree or not, something like that, right? And let me share you a little bit again about my field of work right now, right? How like why I'm interested in like financial service or like fintech, right? And the first reason is that I think financial is like it's for everyone. I mean like in our daily life, we do transaction every day, right? Whether you go to canteen or whether like you like shopping online, you have to at least you have to like do some transaction on daily basis. And I think this one is interesting because like back then, like before we have blockchain or before we have like you know like advanced technology in terms of like internet, right? We have to go to the bank or we have to use a lot of cash, right? But when COVID came or like when the technology emerged, like everyone nowadays like they do we do transaction like online, and we use a lot of application to do transaction. So I think this field like have a room for growth, and that's why like I want to contribute and work in the industry. And right now I'm very enjoy. And if you have any question about the fintech industry, you can like ask me question during the Q&A as well. So now like now you may have a question like how did I end up like landing in my dream job? So I think I think like these are the key, like these three pictures can answer all the question. First, I think the most important part is about like you have to be yourself. What does it mean to be yourself is that you have to figure out what you really want to do in your life, and don't compare yourself with another people, because you know what, like let's say like when you were in when you are with your friend or when you are in the department, right? You train to compare yourself with another people, or like your senior. Wow, like this guy, they're so smart, like they work in very well company, and I want to do that. But when you said that you want to do that, you have to ask yourself as well whether is it the job that you really want to do, or is it the field that you want to pursue in the next 5 or 10 years. So I want to encourage you all to be yourself and try to find yourself before you apply to your dream job, whether it's really fit to you, or whether it's like the thing that you really want to do. Just like in my case, right? Like when I study material science in my college, right? And I feel like it's not really for me. Like I cannot spend my time in the laboratory or do like R&D research, or like spend the time like working on like some advanced machine. It's not really for me. Like for me, I enjoy like talking to people. I like to do like business negotiations, or I like to listening to like business podcasts. So that's why like decided to no, like scientific is not for me. So I decided to stay to myself and do business instead. Secondly, you have to find someone that you can share your dream. And what does it mean by that is that because you have to find someone that can tag along in your journey, because to looking for the job or like to do anything in your life, right? You need to find someone who you can share your dream, or you can share your difficulty, and those people, they can like give you some advice, or they can really like how to say, like feel like you guys are in the same boat, because you guys will share the same issue, you guys will share in the same difficulty, and you guys eventually can figure out and find the solution together in order to go in the same dream, right? And in my case, right, so when I was at KAIST, and before I start applying to the consulting firm, right, as you know, like applying to the consulting firm, there are a lot of process, like there are a lot of interview, case interview, logic interview, there are a lot of preparation, and this thing, and it's something that I cannot like do on myself. And thanks to the friend at KAIST, and also like my friend in the department, that we kind of like hold some kind of group study for the case interview, and we do some mock case like on like once a week. So whenever like we go to the case interview, like actual case interview, we feel very confident about like our answer, something like that. So I think that's why like I also encourage you like to form some kind of the group. Like it doesn't have to be the formal groups, can be like the casual group, to share like your experience, or like to share your difficulty and help each other to reach your own dream, right? And lastly, in this picture, it's about the luck. Honestly speaking, right? In my case, like for before I graduated at KAIST, in the last semester, I applied like almost 100 companies, and I interviewed a lot, yeah. And there's some company that I really want to go, and I feel like, wow, that's my dream job. I want to apply to this company. It's gonna be like, like I can excel this company. I can excel the interview. But when I went to the first interview and I met the hiring manager, there's some element of the some sense that we are not great, it's not a life fit. So I think that's why I think luck is also one of the elements. Maybe it's take like 10% or 20% contribution to your success, but I think it's going to be very important factor as well, because I think like when you interview and you meet your hiring manager and you feel like they're not fit in with your personal, like, or then they are toxic people in some way, I will not encourage you to work for this company as well, because like you never know like when you join the company, like what's gonna happen. So I think you have to take that into consideration as well. So good luck for everyone. This one, I think like yeah, you have to be there and feel this. Yeah, so you can see. And once you have the interview and talk to many people during the interview, you're gonna understand what I mean by that. But anyway, the most important is like be yourself and find someone who can share your dreams. So that's how you can land your dream job. Also, right now, like we think like, okay, not only like now you have to focus on your study, you have to study a lot. And I heard that like, this is your exam period, right? So not only you have to study like 24/7, but if those of you are in the final semester, you may set out about like what would be the next step for you, like how you can like manage your time to prepare for job application, or like manage your time to prepare for like graduate school application. That's going to be very stressful for you, right? So one of the things that I would like you to do is balancing. So I think balancing is a key. So be flexible on what you do, right? In my case, right, basically like during the weekday, I really focus on my study, but Friday, Saturday and Sunday, I will not do study at all. I mean, like I do study during the exam, but I mean, I will try to explore another thing. Like I will try to enjoy my life and find another activity for recreation to make me like less stressed. So I think that's you have to do as well. And better like you go to join some like sport activity, or in my case, I like to go partying. So I do a lot of party or like drinking with friends to like, overcome my stress. So each of you, like each of us have different way of recreation. So just find your own way and try to balancing, take it easy and enjoy the life as Kai as well. Right. And the last thing is about, right, now you may have a question. So what skill that's important for you to land a job or even like excel in your career when you join the company? I think that's two important things, regardless of the background or the education that you are like study for. I think first you have to explore like the new thing outside of your field or your career, because in the real world and actual world, right, we not only just interact with the people with who speak the same language. Speaks the same language, I mean like speak in the same, I mean like working in the same field or the same department, right? But you may have to interact with people like outside of your area. For example, in my case, right, I work in the business department, and a lot of projects I have to interact with the IT team or like developer or legal team, compliance team, finance team. Those people, they have like different logic or different kind of way to communicate. So even though like the message is the same thing, you have to try to like paraphrase or try to find a way to translate it differently so that different people with different background can understand what you say. So that's gonna link to the next skill that very important is about connecting the dot. Connecting the dot is very important because right now, like, I mean, our world, we overwhelmed with like information. There are lots of things that happen, right, in our world right now. There's new technology come every day. There are a lot of like things that we have to learn every day on daily basis. So if you have the connecting the dot skill, it's going to be very useful. So not only just connect like the thing, but you have to find the relationship and try to leverage or try to make the full use of the information that you have. So all in all, I think these two skills, like exploring, like the seeking, like curiosity, and connecting the dot, is the most important thing that you need to have in order to excel, like your job or even your study outside of the college, right? So this is the last question that I want to give it to all of you. So here is my story. So this is the question that I would like and encourage all of you to ask yourself after today's session about like what would be your story. So if you ask yourself this question and try to find your way, like try to find yourself and make sure that like stay true to yourself, and those going to be your story that you can share to your friend or your like future friend in the future. And thank you so much for the presentation. If you have any question, I think we can start the Q&A session right now. Thank you.
If anyone has the question, feel free to share it in the Slido that I just sent the link. And sorry for the technical problem. I think our meeting will be end in like 5 minutes. So I will share you the Zoom link again. Please rejoin it after the meeting is end, okay? I will share the screen of the slide question. Just a moment.
Anyway, may I ask like our like attendee here, like you can type one if you're still in like undergraduate, if you are like graduate or PhD, can you type two? I would like to know like what would be like your background. I think most of you are like undergraduate student, right? Yeah, because one thing that I would like to share is like the way that I like, you know, like when I was in undergraduate, like I joined a lot of like extracurricular activity, right? Like join a lot of club to find myself. But once I find myself that I want to do business or like have a certain sure what I want to do, like in business school, the way that I join extracurricular activity is totally different from the way that I do, like I did in undergraduate. Yeah, that's another important factor as well. Just want to share with you. Okay, right.
For me, I think like it's a bit hard to find some club in during this time because like most of the club run in Korean. Like you have to speak
Right.
Korean really well. And
Right.
also during the COVID-19 situations, not many clubs open for international students. So it's a bit hard for us to find that activity.
All right. Yeah. Agree. Let me share my story when I was in undergraduate and I went to Seoul National University, right? And back then, like it's really difficult, like for me, like to join Korean club as well because the language barrier. But what I did is like I kind of like I don't care, like I'm just be there like every day in the club room. I'm just sit right there and try to talk to the people until like they open to me. Yeah, that's what the learning curve for me as well. Yeah, to break kind of like break the eye with the local people. But yeah, and also I think because the difficulty of your guy, you study online and less chance for you to do like activity offline. But I think right from now on, it's going to be a very good opportunity for you like to go back to the school and yeah, interact offline. Well, we have a lot of questions. How should I answer? Can you pick me up?
I think I will end
Okay.
this Zoom before and please enjoy the link I sent. Okay.
Like material side first before like study business. Am I right? Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, I understand. It's general question, right? Whether we should study like in the technical field before we continue with like business as a master, something like that. Okay. I think this question is really depend. I mean, that I think there's no right or wrong question answer to the question because let's say like if you were in high school or if you're really young and you already certain sure about where you want to go, like for example, if you really want to do finance or you want to do accounting or like you do some like PR business, I think you can just go for that and don't like no disadvantage for that. But if you're like kind of like enjoy about like science and like technology, like computer science, and I think you just go ahead. But because I think like and then like after graduation, if you business, you can and if you feel like you want to have some additional like knowledge in business to add more value, that's going to be okay as well. So my answer to the question is it's really depend on your career path. It's no right or wrong answer to the question. I mean, yeah, it's really depend. But for me, it's kind of like also add a little bit straight to my CV. What I mean by is that because most of the job that I applied in business field, right? So my CV is quite stand out. So the HR or like the manager have question why this guy they want to apply to this job. So it's kind of like give me a little bit chance compared to another people to land into the interview. Yes.
Okay, so let's move to another question. How about this one? How did you land on your current job? What about the previous jobs? This one.
All right. So because of my current job is like kind of like the fourth or fifth job, right, since graduation. So the way that I land the current job is quite different from the way that I land the first job, right? So for this one, the current role is pretty easy because I already have like my working experience. So it's just like simply 1 or 2 rounds of interview and that's it. But let's go back to my first job, right? The one like right after graduation at Sky. This one, the way is totally different. Like I did like 5 rounds of interview with the interviewer. So like and because it was consulting firm, so it's starting from like the test, a lot of tests and interview with multiple of the colleague in Asia. Like even though like I applied to the job in Bangkok office, but I have to interview with people in Jakarta, people in like Beijing office, like so, and then I even have to fly back to like Thailand to do case interview, and and to interview with the partner. So there are a lot of process on that. So I think it's going to be similar to you, right? I mean, because I understand that most of you, that you are like undergraduate. So for your first job or your first interview, I think they're gonna have a lot of like interview round for you. So that's why, like, I think the most important thing for you all is like just be yourself and make sure that you really want to do that job, because otherwise it's going to be a very tiring process. You know what I mean? Because you have to prepare a lot for each interview. Right. And also, and again, right, went back to my presentation, right? You have to find someone, you have to find your friend who like can, you know, form a team to prepare for the interview together. That's very important.
Okay, so let's move to this one. This
This
question. Can you share your experience about studying in a class and our professors speak only in Korean? Because in some class that I have made like speak, the professor speak only in Korean.
Oh, feel sorry for you. Okay, luckily in my case, I have very good luck. I mean, no, none of my class in BTM they speak Korean. I mean, like, they speak English only. Yeah, and they speak English quite well. But I also heard the story from another department, especially in science and like engineering, right? You guys have difficulty on this part, so very tough. Yeah, but I think like but at least the material is in English, right? For this case. Okay, right. But I mean, of course, like listening to the class is very important. So I think if you find that it's not fair for you, you have to speak up, right? And you know what I mean, right? Don't let them like dominate in Korean. Just we have to stand up for our rights.
Okay. For this question, what is your view about KAIST for international students?
Okay, I think, as I mentioned earlier, I think KAIST is very unique compared to another university in South Korea, right? I think for international, KAIST is one of the best places for South Korean to study. I mean, even though some class they train to speak Korean, right? Not fully English, but compared to another university, let's say like compared to Seoul National University, when I went for exchange, right? Those they are like tougher in terms of like international community. They're very small community, international communities for students, and they're very like, I think not many English cards for students in those universities as well. But Sky, there are plenty of English cards available, at least, right, compared to another university. And we have a big international community, right? Just like we have TISA, and I think also like for like specific country, you guys have like other like association for your own country as well. So we have really like strong international community, and I think KAIST is one of the best places for international students in Korean. Yeah.
Move to the next question. What do you think about studying abroad in the bachelor or master degree?
Okay. I think this question is really depend on you. First is about it's depend on the country. Second is also depend on your future career as well. So for the first one, it depends on the country. What I mean by that is, I think some country like because the social value, they prefer people who went abroad since you were young, something like that. But some country, this factor may be like not huge. First of all, like in Thailand, where I came from, right? Not many people that at least people surrounded me like went to like abroad for undergraduate. Yeah, most of my friends, like they just went for study abroad, like for their master, like 1 or 2 years, and then they come back to the country. So I think it's really depend on the country, and secondly, it's depend on your future career path as well. So let's say like for some country again, if you want to do like business, it's require a lot of network and connection, right? So if you study undergraduate like senior in your country, that means you have a lot of chance to interact with like friend or like friend like local, or you can make a network locally, so that when you do business or you want to work in certain field, it's very easy to connect with people in the same field. But in some case, like if you study like in the very technical field that your country is not like good. For example, like in Thailand, we're not famous for like AI or like machine learning. So I think it's better to study abroad for like bachelor in that case.
We have 4 more questions left. And
Sure.
This one is, do you had any problems while you were studying at KAIST?
Well, okay, I will divide it into 2 parts. The first one is a problem about academic problem. Of course, I think like academically, like we all have, I have difficulty as well, because I have like scientific background, right? And then I have to study like business, like for example, like accounting. It's really difficult for me, or like some class that I'm not familiar with and not enjoy it, but I have to study because it's compulsory course. So, and it's like quite straight out. However, like thanks to the people surrounding me, like my friend and also my department is very supportive. We kind of form the study group. So that's how like I can overcome the academically difficulty. And in terms of like personal difficulty, like whether like for adjust myself to the new environment, in this case for me personally, I don't have the issue on that, because I quite familiar with Korean culture, because I went to Seoul National University for since in undergraduate for exchange. So I kind of like know how like Korean way in terms of their lifestyle, or the way that they interact with other people, or like the way that they hang out, something like that. So I don't have the culture shock on that. So when I came to KAIST, when I have the same the same situation, I kind of like, it's kind of like normal. So just adjust and be silent, just be flexible to like those things. And but overall, I kind of like enjoy study and my life at KAIST. Yeah.
To hear that you enjoy study at KAIST. And also,
I did a lot of party, honestly. If some of the Thai friends like were here, they know that like I party a lot.
And for the next question, what do companies look for when you apply for internship in business or management related position? Sorry.
Okay. For master, I didn't do internship, right? So let me share my experience when I was in undergraduate. When I was in undergrad, I did a lot of internship. I did about like 3 to 4 internship. And the reason for that is I want to know whether like I want to do business or not. So first I did my internship in material science in the factory that I'm kind of like cancel out. I mean that I'm not enjoy. So and then I applied, and then like next summer I applied to like business related, like to in like marketing and consulting as well, to see whether like I'm gonna enjoy or whether I actually want to pursue my future career in business. So I think like how I should is really depend on like my goal as well, because I curious to know whether business or marketing is work for me or not. So that's why I apply to those companies.
So I think there are more questions, but they are all similar, so we can merge them. How about like, can you say the advantages and disadvantages while you study at KAIST? How do people view it in the industry when you tell them that you have studied business from KAIST?
Okay. Okay, let's start with the one that how people view in the industry, right? So honestly speaking, like in Thailand, especially in my in financial service industry, like no one know KAIST at all because yeah, KAIST is in business we're not famous in business field, right? So and in Thailand, and actually in Thailand, like not many like alumni like KAIST alumni in Thailand as well. So not many people like know about KAIST, but I don't feel like it's a disadvantage at all. So you have to kind of think that it's one of your unique story that not first of all, like when people ask you where did you go to school and you say like KAIST, you have, and that's mean like you have more story to share. Like you can share like why you went there, like how KAIST unique, and why that you decided to KAIST over another school like in other country. Yeah, and it's a trigger for another conversation with another people. So I think that's could be like this advantage as well. For example, like when I did the interview, right? So for my job interview, like I can share a lot about like my experience as KAIST, or even like my experience in Korean as a general as well. That can kind of make me kind of unique compared to another candidate.
Okay. 2 more questions, maybe. I think we will end in 8. Okay, and this question. This one. Is the undergrad degree for BTM good enough for landing BTM related jobs, or should one need to specialize in a specific field of business?
I'm not sure that I can answer this question because I didn't study at undergrad, but okay, let me put it this way. I mean, this means I cannot really comment about like BTM and BTM like undergrad, but I believe that I heard that there are a lot of people, right, do double degree or minor in BTM, right, in for your undergrad, and I would encourage that as well, because I think business skill is very good foundation, because wherever you go, which industry that you go, like you kind of need certain kind of business skill, whether even though it's the most general one, like whether it's general business, general marketing, if you have time or you have chance, I also encourage you to do and study that, because even though like you study first of all like machine learning, right? Nowadays in our like business field, right, we also use a lot of data, right? So we need some kind of people who understand first data and technical, how to translate that data into like business context. Which is business people like me, we don't understand the data. We just want to know like how we can use that data. So if you like got a chance to study like business, to study like, because you are the one who's understand those data, right? But if you also can understand how the business work or how customer like think, that's gonna be another core value for you as well. But overall, like I think for undergraduate, I mean, just try to explore like as many fields as you can. I mean, first, okay, focus on the field that you study, but secondly, try to shoot like elective or shoot another course outside of your like your main field. So and it's gonna be very useful as well, because first of all, in my case, when I was undergraduate, right, I study like a lot of like business course, and I even like study about culture, like about like even some nonsense course. I took that, and those kind of course, like even though it's kind of like nonsense or it's not really like add too much value, but it can kind of shape your thought or shape your way or shape like the way how you view the world, and that's also a very important skill like outside of college as well.
Okay, and now let's move to the last question.
Sure.
This one. What sort of skill set or experience should one develop in order to appear to recruiter?
I would say like to appeal to the recruiter is really difficult, right? Because when the recruiter like review your resume, they just say like a piece of paper, right? So So the skill and experience that can bring experience to them, I think first, regardless of the background that you study, right? I think first in your CV, you should have the section about the extracurricular activity, right? It could be anything. I mean, you don't have to be very serious extracurricular activity like to appeal to the recruiter, but the thing that you put in there have to be very unique. You know what I mean, right? Because they're gonna have like 100 of people who study like computer science or study marketing. So the extracurricular activity is the way that you can differentiate yourself, right? For example, you may from some kind of like even like cooking class, you may be the cheap, the best chef or one of the best chef, or you do some like volunteer work and you contribute a lot and you can quantify your impact. For example, like you may have raised like 100 or 1,000 US dollar fund for your campaign, something like that. But it doesn't mean that you have to like you know, like push too much yourself. I mean, you don't have to be perfect on everything, right? So just like I say earlier, just be yourself, and that's why like that's the way that you can find your uniqueness in your CV. Anyway, like if you like maybe after decision, if you want me to help to review your CV or resume, like please feel free to share your CV and I can help feedback as well. And even though like before you apply to any job, I also encourage of you to, like, to share your CV and ask the feedback from your friend. Just think like your friend are the recruiter, how they're gonna think about your CV, like what would be the question. Yeah, and from that you can rewrite your CV from the comment, even from your friends.
Okay, so I think also again, due to your presentation, be yourself, find someone to talk to, and wish you have a good luck, right?
Yeah, I think that, yeah, let me say
Three main things.
the last one is very important. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Based on luck for all of you.
Yeah. I think there is no more question now, and this already a perfect time for our meeting. Thank you so much for providing an opportunity so our undergraduate students can decide their own educational pathway. I think your presentation helped us a lot. Thank you for your time. Thank you everyone for joining. See you for the next KAITalk.
Thank you so much.
Bye
Bye. Have a
bye.
good day.